In a world with entirely too many shows about cars, this is another pointless automotive podcast. Hi, welcome to another. Hi, Chadwick. How are you?
Hey, Frank. Another what? I'm in suspense. I got a fear of missing out on this one.
Another pointless automotive podcast. Yeah.
Very cool.
How are you, sir?
Doing all right, man. It's been a while since we've talked.
It's been a while, and
It's
yes,
been 2 weeks,
been
1 week. I don't know what the time
been
lapse is.
an appropriate amount of time. We'll leave that up to the listener to try and figure out how much time that is. But maybe it's a big amount of time. And we should spend the next
a full size amount of time.
Exactly. Yes, thank you, sir. We should
Picked
talk
up for it.
bigly about big cars because we talk about I mean that's not usually what we talk about. I mean
No,
it's
not at
come
all.
up, right? We've talked about trucks. We've gotten trucked. We've trucked around and we've found out.
Definitely found out.
But we haven't really discussed the great land yacht, the full size car, whether it be older, true, god awful American land yachts, or the '80s stuff when stuff had moved smaller, but they were still very big, to stuff we have now, to everything in between. And I just wanted to talk about. I wanted to see if size matters when it comes to full size luxury.
Yeah.
Length, girth, general vascularness, maybe. Of said cars, like big cars.
Let's do it.
How about this? Just off the rip.
Oh,
What's the biggest car you have ever owned, sir? Car, not a truck.
Car, not a truck. So everyone's some
Car.
pretty big trucks. Boy, and like, look, I'm a little out of my water here. I do appreciate a big car, but I'm definitely like hot hatchback, small, nimble car guy.
Oh, me too.
That's my bread and butter. But big car, I've owned. I gotta give it to the Bonneville SSE Supercharged, my friend. That thing, not just a comfortable boat, but a powerful boat, and damn cool looking and cool interior, and it's so many cool check boxes. I'm gonna say for sure that's definitely the coolest big car. I don't know if it's the biggest. It's got to be the biggest car I've ever owned. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
What about that you've like spent any appreciable time in or driven? Like did your growing up, did your parents have some big great American land yacht, the Fleetwood,
my dad had a Buick Roadmaster.
There it is.
Woodside. Yeah. So we grew up in one of those. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So we had one of those. That's a fucking boat.
That's
those
about
things
as
are
boat as
great.
it gets.
Good little motor though, and by little I mean pretty big.
Was it a later one? Was it a LT1 or was like what was the earlier one? Was it the L98? I don't remember.
It was in early 80s, I think.
Oh, okay.
It was like a 82.
It could have been like a 305 or one of those weird
I think it was
268 or one of those weird smog era motors.
Yeah, it was a weird motor. It was not fast, but it was pretty large. So I'd say that was probably my favorite one growing up. And personally, the Bonneville for sure. How about you, man? Is it your current big boat?
Probably, as far as that I've owned, it would either be the LS 430, which is, I mean, it's big. There's no getting around. It's heft.
What's the curb weight of that bad boy? You got to be like 4,800 pounds.
I don't know. I bet you it's not that high. I bet you it's 44.
Two things. Yeah, maybe you're right. We should definitely review that car someday.
Yes, 100%.
Which would be amazing. And you're right. I'd probably say, let me think. So it is an LS 430, just to clarify for the viewers.
2006 LS 430. Yep.
Yeah, maybe 42. Let me dial it down a little bit. 4,200 pounds.
According to the Google machine, and now this is curb weight, so grain of salt, whatever. 3990. Not 4,000. No. It dare not weigh that much.
Right. Yeah, sure.
Put a couple CDs in it and it's 4,000 pounds.
Yeah, 6-disc player, baby.
Yeah. So the it's big. in a lot of instances it feels smaller
Mhm.
because it's got an excellent turning radius. It's actually more nimble than it should be.
Yeah, they drive.
Um, it's a good driving car. It's not ponderous. It's
No.
soft, it's smooth, but it's not floaty, it's not ponderous.
Yeah, the Bonneville wasn't either. Wasn't was not. I would not describe that as a floaty car at
Yeah, that
all.
was certainly smaller than the LS.
Yeah. How
But
much did
that was their full size at the
I
time,
actually
right? For
weighed?
Pontiac.
Yeah, it was at that time. There was a time, I guess, in the mid '80s where it was classified as mid-size. They were a little smaller, and
Mhm.
then when this generation came out, which mine was, it was considered a full size. So, what was the curb weight of mine? I want to say it was like I don't know, not much, dude. I think it was like 3,800 pounds.
It was a 97,
No, no, 93.
93. Oh,
I mean,
that's a
I literally weighed that specific car in my review, which I do to every car I review. So, um, yeah, it had to be close to that, dude. You know what? I have a spreadsheet.
Of course you have a spreadsheet. According to the Google machine, 3607 is the
Yeah,
curb weight,
I wouldn't be much of a Chadwick if I didn't record
right?
my
What a
every
Chad.
yeah.
Um, Chad Thunder spreadsheet. So the LS is probably the biggest one that I've owned. However, shout out to the pair of 67 Plymouth Belvederes
What a pair.
that I have owned. Both of them two doors. Um, although of that era, I'm not convinced the two door was all that smaller than the sedans. Um, but
3512, my friend. The Bonneville
oh
SSE
wow,
Supercharged from 93 was a sprightly 3512 with half a tank
okay,
of gas.
all right.
There we go. Now we're good again.
Maybe
Jesus
the
Lord.
maybe the SSE is
A weight
lighter than the
reduction.
SSEI. That letter, that extra I that they place all over it,
All
added
the weight.
added a whole 100
Dude,
pounds.
that's why I like weighing the cars because modified cars, you always change stuff around so that changes the weight. But also, manufacturer claimed curb weights tend not to be ever accurate because there's like trim levels, there's different options you can add.
Yeah.
They just tend not to be accurate. So
Yep. Um, what about and I'm the same way. Like I've never really been big car guy, and I think that's why it's taken me so long to warm up to this LS 430.
mhm.
Even though by all accounts, and it really is a brilliant thing.
Mhm.
Um, do you have, whether it be older or newer, do you have are there any like full size cars, be it a sedan or a wagon or even a full size coupe, even though there's not a ton of them?
Mm.
Are there any of them out there where like, boy, that one just really gets my goat?
I
Is
mean,
there one that you're looking
I
to
do
put?
not hate the Oldsmobile Aurora. There's something
Okay,
about that. I think it has like a super weird front bumper that I kind of like. It's got a unique
yeah.
look to it, and it's definitely a boat. It's definitely a coupe, which is cool. Um, I
Well,
guess
it's a sedan.
true. Yeah. Wait, what am I thinking of then?
I don't know.
What's the
The
two
Aurora
door?
does have a weird. They made the first. Okay, so I think the Aurora was actually technically a midsize.
Mm,
Um, but
I did very little research in
they
this one.
made the other Oldsmobile that had a very similar name. Not well, they had the Intrigue, which
No,
was
no,
stablemates with Grand Am, and you can get it as a two door. They had the Oldsmobile 98, which was a full size, but that's not what you're getting at.
no.
That was
Good
a
Lord.
sedan. Um, Oldsmobile coupes underrated. What era are you talking?
It's definitely 90s. It could be the Aurora.
The
Could
Aurora
be
was
a
the
four
styling of
door.
it was coupe-ish.
Yeah.
It was very swoopy. It had that big, ridiculous, like gaping light bar in the rear. I had the one that I sold on Cars and Bids for my car donation homies, and it was a very interesting car. That's the one that Doug did a video with.
That's the one with the
A lot
it
of
has like a
weirdness.
super aggressive front bumper, right? It looks like a body kit almost. Or
Kind of.
am I
It's got
just
like
drunk?
it.
What am I
It has like no major like grill. Like it's just a
Yeah, it
bumper
has
with like two eyeballs.
the two big sub grills down low where there'd be like a lower air dam.
Kind of, yeah. And the second generation of it though, they made it the air grills were more pronounced.
Yes.
Um, and that was like late 90s, early 2000s. I think early 2000s was the second gen one. Um, but those are interesting.
They
Um,
are pretty cool.
you know what I would really want? if especially if we're keeping it just to talk coupes for a minute,
Yeah.
that W140 chassis, S class from the 90s that they killed off. I think 99 was the last year, maybe 2000. No, 99. Um, in coupe form, it's got the pillarless. You roll the quarter glass down and the front windows down.
Those are kind of like in good shape or fetching a little bit of coin now, though.
The 600s definitely pull money,
Yeah.
but
And I'm talking
I've
like a clean one, not like one that's,
yeah,
been.
yeah, the tattered ones you don't want. That's a car you desperately do not want to buy as like a on the cheap, because they will just absolutely ream you. Um,
Mm.
they will go full pipe layer, and they will decimate you,
Yeah.
physically and emotionally and spiritually, if you have to like put. They're just, the build quality on those cars is immense,
Mhm.
and which is great when it's all good, but when it's all bad, like trying to replicate that and get it right is
Yeah, it's tough.
very difficult. That's something you want to leave to the OEM. So get a good one, and but the 500, you just get a S500 coupe, or later they were the CL 500. It's still that 300 and basically 300 ish horsepower V8, strong, sounds good, hyper comfortable, very stylish. I want one, and they're big.
That or an M6, but I don't know if an M6 qualifies as full size.
It was their full size coupe at the time.
Yeah, it kind of is.
Um, full ish size. They're
Well,
not
they had the
small.
you
The
get
big
the
coupes.
650 with a V12, correct? Am I right on that one?
The 850 was the V12.
850. Sorry, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah. So the 840,
that was kind of a
850.
full size coupe too. That was a heavy car. That was a surprisingly heavy
They were
car.
heavy. I've driven an 850 with a manual, which
Pretty
is pretty
sweet.
uncommon.
Not the CI though, my friend.
No, it was a CI, not a CSI. The
CSI.
CSI is that's the magic sauce one. The regular CI, it felt very much like just driving like a 5 series manual.
Yeah.
Like it which is kind of what it is,
Yeah.
sort of. It's a lot of that stuff carries over, but it just felt like it was nice. The V12 was smooth, it was cool, but
Mm,
it 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 was mildly disappointing to drive. It was fine.
yeah.
Like I would love to own that car. It was a good example. Um, but like I don't know. It
Mm,
For the amount of money and care and feeding that those cars take, I don't I wouldn't. I'd rather just get an 840 with a manual, or sorry, with an auto.
right.
And because they're way cheaper and the parts are more available. It's not
Mm,
as cool, certainly not, but
no.
like I don't know. Um, you what about you ever do any full ass land yacht stuff, almost like the Roadmaster kind of deal?
I would consider getting a Roadmaster. I'd kind of want to do a resto mod one and put some good stuff in there, but
Bench seats,
yeah,
front and rear.
yeah, it's never really gotten my attention. I like the comfy cruising aspect of them. Like an old maybe Eldorado or something like that. It'd be kind of
Yeah.
fun to dick around with, but like the driving dynamics is what just can't seal the deal with me, man.
Well,
It's
that's,
ooh,
you don't, if you're doing a drive that has any multiple number of turns, it's
over
just what you
zero.
don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I shortly after I graduated high school, I had this like this idea stuck in my craw of buying, and I heavily searched, and I just couldn't quite get the right one where I wanted to pull the
Mhm.
trigger on, because I was freshly out of high school, had no freaking money. But I wanted to buy like a 60s to 70s like Chrysler Imperial or Newport or Dodge 880
Mm.
or yeah, Plymouth Fury 3 sedan, or Cadillac Fleetwood long wheelbase, and get one and just load up with some friends, go 3 wide in the front, 3 wide in the back,
Hell
and just
yeah.
go on a like, hey, let's take the summer and let's drive coast to coast.
It would be
we'll take
comfy.
we'll take 3 weeks
Yeah.
and just show up places and just spill out of that thing. A little tattered around the edges. um And
Dude,
I never
that would
did
be
it,
good.
and it makes me a
Yeah.
little bit sad. But just like highways and byways, like just
Of
you're
course.
not yeah, you're not cutting up PCH on it. Like
You're visiting gas stations quite frequently, but
yes, you're
uh
eating gas station beef jerky and Hostess orange cupcakes,
mm,
and staying at no-tell motels and avoiding lot lizards
I mean,
and
there are you avoiding them? So I just uncorked my brain fart, and the car I'm thinking of, and I didn't even look it up. It just came to me is the Buick Riviera, which is the other GM full
yes, yes, yes,
size
yes, yes,
coupe,
yes.
and that intrigues me a
Hmm.
little bit because it was really a shot at a luxury, like a truly luxury car, and it wasn't. But it's a big boat. It's a coupe. I
And
would rock
you
that.
could have got those with the 3800 supercharged, right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
One of
Those
my
were
favorite
cool.
motors.
Those were cool. You know what? I haven't seen a good one in quite some time,
Yeah, I don't know
but
if
I
they
feel like there
exist.
was I feel like there was a chunk of time where people actually like looked after those cars for a little
Yeah,
bit. Like they were
they were pricey new, if I
mhm.
remember correctly. And that was the time because it was like similar to the Riata, which came out and tried to sell itself as an upscale
Yeah.
Buick product. And I still like the Riata. I think the Riata actually looks kind of good, but the Riviera is just kind of, it's huge. It's like until you see one, like it's just it's for a coupe, it's massive.
Yeah, they're very
It's a
big.
big boy,
They're big,
modern
and
big boy.
I'm trying to think of like because if you go back to like 60s, 70s, there's some like
Yeah.
profoundly enormous, like criminally
Yeah.
like we're talking things that'll like dwarf a modern Escalade, like
Oh,
that level of size,
which is wild because
which is cool.
they had shorter wheelbases. It was just all
Yes,
overhang. It was
shorter
just
wheelbases, way shorter. I mean, an Escalade has like all the room in the world for like 11 people, damn near, and a massive back cargo area. These were like a kind of tight-ish back seat
yeah.
in the especially in the coupes. We have a
Oh,
tight-ish back
100%.
seat, an enormously ridiculously large flat slide aroundable front seat, and then like a cartoon back like trunk,
Yeah.
just
Yep.
absolute ridiculousness. And so that form factor rightfully doesn't exist anymore. um I mean, what's the most modern like equivalent of that?
Oh, that's a good question. Well,
Rolls Royce.
sedans and coupes are super rare across the board, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Rolls Royce for sure. But
any
as
Rolls Royce really, but like the
any
Phantom.
no domestics recently, right?
Oof, what is the closest
Jeez.
domestic? There's not cat. What's bizarre is like Cadillac doesn't offer anything anymore.
No.
um
GM in general. What's the biggest car GM makes? Nothing right now, but
yeah, I mean it's and Ford proper doesn't anything. Does Lincoln produce? Is that Lincoln Continental thing, the one with Matthew McConaughey
oh god.
um um pretending to be a
This
philosopher while driving behind the wheel at dusk?
I don't think Lincoln makes a car anymore. Yeah.
Like I don't know what is the
It's a good
largest.
question, right?
I'm gonna Google it real quick.
How about
Talk
a
about something.
this is probably a mid-size, but boy, I'd love to own a first gen Mitsubishi Diamante. I'm just gonna go out and
I think
say
that was their full size. I think that was their full size.
how well did that first gen age? That thing looks good. The second gen has aged horribly. I can't stand the second gen. I think you got to be a drug dealer to drive it too. But the first gen Diamante, I would eat that. Eat that right.
Yeah. And you know what? I take it back. The Cadillac CT5 is still a thing.
Yeah, it's a pretty big
So they do
car.
still, yeah, they do
It
still
just
actually
doesn't
make a sedan.
the way they optimize interior space, it like the dimensions don't look as grandiose as the old ones. But yeah, less overhang. I think that's what makes it look nice. Like the wheelbase is stretched more.
You know who's still around and absolutely fits this? We don't talk about it though. For it's been the same car for freaking ever.
Mm.
The old Chrysler 300,
It's
which
gone
is
now.
really
This is the last year of it.
that's it. Yeah, it's the swan song. We're in it
Yeah,
right now.
they have a 300C that's got the Hemi in it, and it's
Yep,
amazing.
the 6.4 Hemi.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a great car too.
Yeah,
They
it's
look
supposed to
good.
actually do. They do look good. I'm not about to go get one, but
No.
like because you could just get one that's like 10 years old and it's
Damn it.
90% of the way
You
there.
know what? There's one I'm missing that I shame myself. The Throttle House guys just did a review of this, and it's like
Oh,
getting all this positive attention. They're like, I want to hate this car, but it handles better than I thought. It sounds better than I thought, and it drives way better than I thought. The Magnum SRT8, which I owned one of
Oh yeah,
those.
yeah, yeah,
That is
yeah,
100% a full size car. Uh,
yeah.
that's a big
Shotgun
boy.
wagon.
Yeah, and
That's a
that
big
thing
boy.
hauls all the balls too. I mean, in 2006, 425 horsepower.
Mm-hmm.
The Mustang GT sporting 300 horsepower. That's a
Womp womp.
significant power gap. Yeah. For V8s. And they drove it, and the SRT8 has like bigger sway bars, better suspension, Brembo 4 disc brakes, or four disc brakes. It does have 4 disc brakes, but it has four
It does.
piston brakes, Brembo brakes in the front. So it had like really good stuff on there, and the steering was pretty tight for what it was. It had a AMG Mercedes 5-speed auto, which,
Mm-hmm.
take it or leave it, was a pretty good gearbox to hold all that power. There wasn't too much that could bridle
Yeah.
that in back then, but yeah,
And
that
that
might
that
be my favorite
that
that I've owned.
Mercedes 5-speed auto was in a lot of stuff. That was the
So beefy.
Tiptronic
Yeah.
gearbox in all the Porsche stuff. Because it can hold it. Yeah, it's meaty and beefy and chunky,
And it's
chunky monkey.
pretty snappy shifts. So, dude, that was definitely my favorite full size car. That thing was shutting traction control off and put my son in the back seat and going, "Daddy, do a drift," and just like power steering
Why
through
not?
corners. Yeah,
Like, yeah.
it's such a fun car, dude. And the noises it made. That
Yeah.
thing would do like a buck 40 without even breaking a sweat. It's like just incredible
Oh,
amount of
yeah, for
power.
sure.
Yeah, great
And,
car.
and and all kinds of room for your friends and your goodies.
A legit wagon, right? Like we always
Mm-hmm.
cry for, oh, I wish I had a powerful rear-wheel drive wagon or wagon in general. There it is. They're not cheap anymore, though,
Can
unfortunately.
you can you imagine? It's funny. Everyone talks about like, oh yeah, like the the RS6 Avant is now back, and there's like the fast wagon, right? And then there's the E63 wagon, and so, can you imagine if they made an S class wagon?
Oh, dude.
Get an S class wagon, which I know in the 140 chassis they did in Europe, I believe, or maybe just Assault and Brunei was a madman and got a few because why not? But like I think they did. I
Right.
think there was an S class wagon for an hour in Europe. But yeah, S class wagon, 7 Series wagon. How dope would that be? Have an E38 wagon.
6,000 pound cars we're talking
Yeah,
about.
A8 S8 wagon would be cool.
Yep.
But like big wagons, and like I guess like if you really wanted to, you could just get like slam an Audi Q7 and now you've got a wagon, or just
Yeah.
like slam
How about
an X7. But that's lame.
a modern Magnum Hellcat would be kind of sick.
That'd be dope.
With a manual
Or
option. If you put that car out, there isn't a single like automotive journalist that wouldn't have been drooling on it, right? Like having an SRT8 or SRT Hellcat with a supercharged, 6.2 or whatever was in that at the time, 707 horsepower, rear-wheel drive, 6-speed manual. Oof,
what about this? Like
oof.
the modern take is everything's going EV, right? Like
Mhm.
allegedly, like that's, and there's pushback, and now the pendulum is gonna swing the other way, and people are gonna get back on the EV thing, especially once like next gen stuff starts coming out. What what if so Lucid, they did their thing, they made this incredible machine that cost an incredible amount of
Too
money,
much money. Yeah.
and it's incredibly large, and it's a full size sedan, and it's
Yep.
by all accounts it's cool. I like it's a little different. It's a different angle. Um, and Tesla did the same thing. But hey, we're gonna make a full size sedan. It's gonna be our thing with the Model S. I wonder if Lucid would be more successful is when they launched the Lucid Air.
Mm.
If they said, hey, we should just make it a wagon. If it came out as a wagon instead of a sedan, I wonder if it would be, not that it's unsuccessful, but I wonder if it would be more successful and be it would be a bigger differentiator between somebody just going out and getting a Model S or whatever and getting a Tesla. I don't know.
Be interesting. We totally skipped over Porsche with the Panamera, dude. That's a recent
Mhm.
full size,
Yeah,
4-door vehicle.
you can
Those
get them
things are
cheap.
pretty cool. Yeah, and the early ones I didn't look that good. They did get better as they aged when they had more of a shooting brake kind of
Yeah.
lower profile look to them. But that's definitely a full size car we
Mm-hmm.
completely skipped over when no one else is building those anymore. Yeah, the domestics aren't making anything, right? Like Ford's not making anything. They don't make
No,
cars. God, what was the last full size Ford? Had to
the
be
last
like
full size Ford was, I mean, it was the last Taurus, right?
had to be the Taurus or the Crown Vic or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, now that was 2011. They made
Yeah,
the Taurus deeper than that, and that became their full size and fleet and
wait, when
stuff.
was the last Taurus? I guarantee that's like not too deep.
Oh, I bet
Boy,
you the
that's like
last Taurus was like
2014,
I think it's like
2015.
17.
Yeah, maybe 14 or 15. That's still not very deep, dude. That's like nearly a decade ago.
I'm
It's
gonna
been a
look it up.
while.
When did it 2019?
Bullshit.
Yeah. 2019 was the last model year of the Ford Taurus.
Oh, that's a
Taurus.
almost a
I
collector's
know. Go get him. Go get him.
item. Final
Um,
year.
and
Good
even that
lord.
originally was the midsize, you know.
Yeah, like the show originally was a midsize sports sedan.
Oh, you know what? Seventh generation Taurus, that the 2016 to 2019 China.
Oh,
Um,
so it was
but let's
2014,
see.
2015.
Well, no. Oh, you know what? Looks like they made a whole extra generation in between just for the Chinese market that continued on. Oh, it's still actually going.
God
So the
bless
last
him.
one we got one actually was, yeah. You know how many Ford Tauruses were sold in the final year, 2019, in the United States?
Oh, had to be nothing.
Not counting police interceptors.
Had to be like 3,200.
No, just a shade under 10,000.
Ooh, okay.
9,924.
Do you,
You
do you
go back
remember
to
the Taurus X? Here's a trivia
yes,
one. Oh God.
yes, underrated. I'm gonna come out and say it. Underrated.
The Ford 500. Do you remember that before it became the Fusion?
Yes, the Ford 500, which I don't know. There's like there's Ford 500 apologists out there. When
Is there?
I don't there are. I don't think I'm on board with them. I've driven some where like, oh, this is not terrible, but they eat up transmissions and
Oh,
there's
of course.
there's a lot of things wrong with them. But um,
Wait, have we arrived to a conclusion that the large car is extinct nearly in
I
modern?
mean it.
It's got to be. There's not much, dude.
I mean the certainly the domestic
Ooh, I don't think we
large
named a
full
lot of.
size car is
Yeah,
dead, which is weird because if you think about
those are bread and butter, man.
that was the absolute hallmark and calling card of the American car in the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, really the 80s
80s, yeah.
and into the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And then do I blame the chicken tax? Do I blame the American concept of rugged individualism and how you need to blaze your own trail, and whether that be with a trailblazer or a blazer or a pathfinder or for your own runnings or whatever, and you
Yeah.
the shift to SUVs, because that's really what did it. It's completely on the shift
Sure.
to the SUV.
Yep.
So how, do we who do we blame? Do we blame the family truckster for making a mockery of the great huge American station wagon? I don't know where to place the blame. There's a
Yeah,
lot
it's
that's
tough. This
it's
is
a
a tough
confluence
one.
of factors. But yeah, and who's left to do it, right? Lexus, Germany,
Yeah.
and England to a certain extent, right?
Some Jags, yeah, I
Some
guess.
Jags, Volvo's still kind of doing it. You can
Kind
go out and
of.
get
Yeah.
I think you can get an S90 or whatever,
Mm.
which is the full size sedan and wagons. Although I think the pure wagon you can't get anymore. You have to get like the one that's been lifted like 3/4 of an inch with some cladding to make you feel like that rugged individualism again.
Well, Japan had some good ones back in the day, like the Mazda
Yeah.
929, which we just talked about
Mm-hmm.
recently. You had the Q45 was kind of a cool car.
Yeah, that was cool.
Um,
I
big,
still think that car
comfortable
is slept
cruiser.
on.
Oh, 100%. That and the QX4 are like super
Mm-hmm.
slept on. That's a pretty cool truck for what it is. And they can be had for 3 grand, 4 grand, 5 grand for good ones. So it's
Yeah,
wild.
for sure. I'm running a QX4 on Cars and Bids as we
Yeah, look at
speak.
that segue. Look at
Look at
that
that.
segue.
But
Serving it
like,
up.
yeah, there we go. Again, we are not sponsored. I'm offering that one up for free. By the way, where my moths are in my pockets, and you can line them with things other than moths for people that are out there listening. The yeah, the Q45 was genuinely cool.
Hmm.
And punchy. Like those early ones were
Yeah.
were
Yeah,
they
yeah.
were they were they boogied a little bit.
Good motor.
Um, and what else you had? The worst of the initial like Japanese, like the
Oh,
90s 2001 is the 35 RL is the worst of that. The earlier Legend was a great car. The early ones were not a full size. That second generation was full size adjacent.
They made an all-wheel drive RL eventually, right? It wasn't. I know that
They did,
some of
yeah,
them are, most of them are
and
front-wheel drive, which is kind of crazy because everything else in the segment was rear-wheel drive,
yeah,
right?
in 2005 when they
Mm.
did a heavy revamp, um, they were 305 horsepower, I think,
It
all
was
wheel
pretty powerful.
drive.
Yeah.
Um, Good car, super
Zero.
underappreciated today. Like
Yeah.
nobody gives a damn about those cars.
Zero design personality. It was like one of the blandest looking
Those
cars.
ones had more design personality than the earlier ones,
Yeah.
which are
The first gens just,
profoundly
yeah,
like insultingly poor
yeah,
as far as styling. Like,
super flat styling.
and they drive okay, but it's like the quint. It's if Honda said like, you know who's really killing it right now in the late '90s, freaking Buick and Oldsmobile.
Mm.
We need to emulate that.
Oh man, get out of here.
That's what that styling looks like. Even the Vigor was okay.
I like the
But
Vigor. I think the Vigor. Well, the Vigor was mid-size for sure, but
it
it
was,
was
but
a.
I mean
I like
styling
the
wise,
Vigor. I thought the Vigor looked good. I thought it was a good
but
looking car.
those early TLs and then that first gen CL, which was bizarro looking.
The CL looked worse. I couldn't get the back
Yeah.
end of that. Just didn't do it for
Yeah,
me.
it was I don't know. It was like a set of pursed lips on wheels.
Mm.
It was I don't know. It was just a weird creation.
Better than the
Um,
Infinity. What was it? The I-30 or J-30? I always mix up which one had the hideous. Like the
the
ass end was ball, like sloped
That's
off.
the J30, which
Ugh.
I
Nope.
did not like then. I've
Nope.
come around a fair bit. The front end I think is great. The profile is interesting.
The rear end is awful. It's awful.
The Ionic, what is it, the Ionic 6 or whatever, the new one, the new Infinity. It's like
Where
that
the
same
ass just
emulation.
falls off. Yeah. Well, the Ford Taurus did that for a while too. Remember when they had that? That's when they were shared with the X-Type Jag. So they had
Yes.
that same ass drop effect. Toyota
Toyota.
Solara.
Well, I was going to say Toyota Cressida was their full size for a
That's
while.
true. Yeah.
Even though it wasn't full size, it's probably the same size as like a 5 Series.
That was a good car. Yeah.
And then later the Avalon, which was
Meh.
fine. Yeah, it's just a slightly larger uh Camry. Funny anecdote, and this just popped into my head when thinking about how old people drive Avalons. I remember in 1997 when I was helping my mom purchase a new vehicle to replace her '82 Celica.
Okay.
She ended up purchasing the '98 Integra LS sedan 5-speed,
Oh, right in the
which is
running for a Toyota Avalon, right?
right.
With
Well,
the
no, we were at the
Integra.
Toyota dealership, and
Oh,
because
okay.
she wanted to get a Celica then to replace her Celica. It's like, I had a Celica, I loved it. It was the best car I ever owned. I'm getting another Celica. And
Nice.
she eventually was like, I kind of want something with 4 doors, hence the Integra.
Mm.
But poking around the dealerships, like, we're here, let's look at all the cars. So we were poking through every model. And I remember my mom opening up the center console of the on an Avalon and just being like, why is this center console so enormous? Like, it's huge. Like, there's so much room in there. And I remember whatever 13, 14-year-old idiot me being like, Mom, this is an old person's car. It's for all of their glasses and their prescription pills and
Oh
things
yeah.
like that. That's what this is for. And so, like, even when that car was new
It was an
on the
old person
showroom
car.
floor, it was like,
Yeah.
this is the Japanese Buick. This is the less nice 3.5 RL.
Right. Right.
But I mean, yeah, I mean today it's there's you have, does Acura even still have a full size sedan? I mean, they have the TSX, which has gotten pretty big.
Yeah. Well, they had a few different. They did a lot
They
of
had the
name shifting.
RLX for a little bit. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're still kind of lost at sea.
My favorite was the SLX. The Isuzu Trooper, if you will, second gen Trooper. But
Still looking for a clean one.
yeah, they're never clean. Yeah, dude, I don't know. It's like the full sized car is pretty goddamn rare.
It is, yeah, and the only ones are like hyper. I mean, think about back to like the landscape in the late '80s, early '90s in America, where it's like today the only full size cars are luxury or ultra luxury.
Mm-hmm.
That is it.
That's it.
Think back to when you had entry level, quote unquote, full size cars, whether it be the Crown Victoria or the Dodge Intrepid,
Yep.
or you name it, right? Every
I,
manufacturer had a full. There was a compact,
yep.
a midsize, and a full size.
I was gonna say
And
that in the
sometimes there
80s.
was a subcompact,
Yeah,
and sometimes there were coupes sprinkled in there.
late 80s, every automaker had they had a subcompact, a compact, like you said, midsize, full size.
Mm-hmm.
They had some kind of SUV by the time of the late 80s. They definitely had a truck and they had a minivan. Like every automaker
They
had
had
to
they had
have
a
that kind
minivan,
of
and sometimes they had
sports car, like
a convertible. Yeah,
yeah, or a coupe, a two-door sports version, which was like the Solara to the Camry. But
yeah,
in the 80s for sure, late 80s, early 90s, everybody had that lineup. Not so
yeah.
much now, man.
No, what's funny is you almost have that only in SUVs. Well,
Hmm.
you'll have like let's just, I don't know, pick Audi. Okay, you have a Q3, and you have a Q5, and you have a Q7, and you have a Q8, and I'm sure there's other ones in there. There's e-tron whatevers
God,
that are
can I be
different.
that Q7 is just so bland to me.
I mean, they're
I mean,
all
the
bland.
SQ5s were cool for a little bit, but yeah, the Q. But I mean, let's be honest though, like big SUVs have come back. I mean, the
Mm-hmm.
the market's there. People want big shit, but like for some reason, big cars, too close to the ground, my friend. Doesn't work for my family use case for some
Well,
reason.
that's I think part of the snowball in all of this is
I mean,
like
big cars are
it's a
in.
well, it's a straight up arms race.
Yeah.
So if you are now today, like how many, I don't know, how many people do you know over the past say 10 years where they're like, oh hey, we're having a baby, and they're like, the first thing I need to do now is go buy some enormous vehicle, because otherwise I feel like my budding young family is going to get murdered on the roads of America.
Yeah, it's a weird
and
thing.
and a I think starting off a new family with crippling debt is a bad idea. So that aside,
Challenge
um
accepted.
I just the concept of I have a 8 pound 9 ounce bouncing baby boy, and I have to encase it in a 5,800 pound um you know dreadnought
Hmm.
of an SUV.
Old Ironsides. Yep.
Yeah, which like I understand where that's coming from, and I understand the sentiment of like, I want to have this command position and ride up higher and be this heavy
Mm.
thing and win if I hit something or something hits me.
Yeah.
Like that's great. Like I understand that, but like it's created this arms race over the years where like, and now EVs, which have this enormous battery pack and all the things. And,
Yeah.
I don't inherently dislike EVs, but it's I don't know. And it's bizarre to where like not only has it killed the full size American car because people just get an SUV, it's kind of killed like the American car,
Mm.
um,
That's true.
and non-American car. But like Ford doesn't make cars anymore outside of a Mustang.
GM really doesn't.
But GM did like fleet sales Impalas, whatever, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Um, Chrysler's not a
Yikes.
car company. Dodge is, or Stellantis. Like you go down the list, and it's I don't know. I don't want to be old man that yells at cloud, but uh, I kind of miss the full size car.
Yeah. It isn't there anymore,
And
man.
unless you're getting an S
Not there.
class or an A8
Yeah.
or a Rolls or a Bentley
Yeah.
or a Lexus LS, that's it.
Yeah. I
Like
was gonna say
that's
get
the
a new
entire landscape.
LS, but yeah. Mm.
Um, which is a shame. Like if
It's a
okay,
goddamn shame.
if you got to pick, or I guess there's actually the big Genesis energy. If
Okay.
you got
Yeah. Like G90 or something. Yeah.
yeah, G90. If you were automotive king for a day, and you got to resurrect a full size vehicle for a current manufacturer,
Mm.
so you couldn't say Plymouth Fury because Plymouth is dead, but you can go Dodge Polara if you want. You can
Yeah.
go whatever. You pick your poison. You can say I want the Q45 back. Like whatever you want. Like what are you thinking?
Yeah,
What
I
would you
got
do?
one. I think we covered the Saving Buick episode. I think I said I'm bringing back the Roadmaster because I think
That'd be cool.
we do have a want for wagons. It would not sell, Buick only makes shitty crossovers. But to bring back a Roadmaster and just for shits and giggles, throw like a woody panel side one
Wood
out there
option,
as an
wood
option.
panel
Yeah.
option.
And
Yeah.
you could run like you could run that what is it, the 6.5 that was in the Camaro SS and all those vehicles, that 400 and what was it, 455 horsepower V8. I think that'd be it. Was the
I
6.2?
just
I can't remember. I can't remember for the life of me.
You can do the 650 horsepower one, yeah, out of like the
Oh, the supercharged? Yeah, dude.
uh-huh.
You
Yeah.
definitely put the ZL1 Camaro engine in there. That'd be pretty freaking
That'd
fun.
be You'd be funny though. You do that with like a or what you do is you take all the powertrain of the new E-Ray. So that way you've
Split it.
got like there's plenty of room for batteries and shit. Like you can just add a song.
You could.
So like you can be like quiet around town when you're like taking the kids to soccer practice and then just absolutely roast all four tires.
Yeah, or you just go
When you
fucking
want.
full hog and make it look like a C8 Corvette, like styling cues, and just make it super
Yeah.
modern and sleek. And it would just, no one at Buick would know what to do with it, but it'd be a wild car. That's probably what I'd do. How about you, man? What are you bringing back for full
I think
size snacking?
I would go something a little bit more entry level.
Ooh.
Um can I resurrect the Cressida? Have it be more full size? Have it be
And not be like a crown.
basically I would want to take like the outgoing because I think they're killing off the Lexus GS. I would basically take that same platform.
Mm.
I don't even need the V8 out of the GSF, although I would enjoy it.
Yeah.
But you just decontent the bejesus out of it, and you make it like, okay, hey, we've got a full size rear wheel drive,
Mm.
just Toyota reliable branded
You don't put the
sedan.
BMW power plant in there and
No,
do like,
nope,
no, good,
nope,
good man,
no, we're not. I'm not stretching a Supra.
good
Um,
man.
but yeah, like I would just decontent the outgoing GS. If you've got to do some hybridization or whatever to keep the cafe humans at bay, like so be it. Again, it's big, you've got room. Or even LS platform, you take the existing LS platform, maybe even keep the powertrain, but just
Mm.
make it like Toyota quality, quote unquote, NVH
Oh
and
yeah,
interior components, and you decontent and down market an LS, so
you could do that. Yeah.
you have like the only true like full size sedan on the market that's at an entry level.
You could sell it if you kind of retro designed it, put some more angles on it, some more
Shit,
straight
absolutely,
edges.
man. I mean, it works.
I think that would be sweet.
How successful has the rugged throwback mo worked for the truck division at
Yeah,
Toyota?
Broncos
It's
killing it.
it's
The
it's
GX, the GX is going to be a
yeah,
market crusher.
the
Yeah,
GX, the new Land Cruiser on the Prado. You have the Forerunner that's been the same Forerunner since
yeah,
2010. The
exactly.
Tacoma, which is new this year, but is still carrying over a lot of that same stuff. You just have you know, think a Crown Vic, but infinitely more reliable and with higher build quality.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
Boxy's good. Boxy's really good for trucks for sure.
Plus, dogs love trucks. I don't know if you know that.
Of course they do.
They do. Oh boy, how should we put a pin in our full size experience here?
I mean, to be honest, like I'm not the biggest full size car fan in the world, but
Are you
I
coming
do.
around?
I know I appreciate them, and I appreciate some of the boaty qualities, like the ride quality tended to be pretty damn awesome. Very disconnected, but very comfortable. They used to have like basically lazy boy recliners for seats, if not
Mm-hmm.
an entire couch in the front,
Yes.
which was always a good thing. But boy, I gotta be honest with you, I don't see him coming back, my friend. I just
No.
don't see it. Don't see it in the
No.
cards.
I think the only hope we have, I think it starts at wagons. Because
Yeah, yeah,
everyone is so, first off, I love wagons, so great.
yeah.
Enthusiasts generally love wagons. And I think non-enthusiasts are just so bought into the SUV hatch type form factor at this point, and
Hmm.
gone is the 3-box sedan. Like, I think that's the only way it comes back. If it's
Yeah.
like the 1990s first gen Subaru Outback was like the genesis of like taking cars and sedans and SUVifying them and CUVing them into what we have today. I think it's going
Yeah.
to take that same form factor, but in reverse, where it's like, oh, it's an SUV, but like stretched a tiny bit and squished a little bit, and now it's lowered. Look how cool and sporty that looks. Like, I think it's going to
Yeah.
take that same tract of de-evolution if there's any shot of that ever happening.
And let's be
And that
honest, you lowering these SUVs down, you're getting better fuel consumption, you're getting
Mhm.
better like handling dynamics.
In an EV world, when we're talking range here,
Mm-hmm.
that could be a big thing where it's like, well, this other one, it's lower. I don't need the ground clearance, but it gets 20% better range because it's not up in the freaking clouds.
I think
Um,
full EV world is as likely to happen as sedans coming back. But anyway,
yeah, I mean that world
I
is
think we're moving
35 years
past it.
out, but
Yeah, if
um,
ever. Yeah.
interesting.
Mm.
So, without further ado,
R.I.P. sedans.
RIP sedans. Yep, it's been swell. You shall be missed.
Yeah.
Are you gonna miss though? Once I
I
throw a
mean, I
quiz
could.
your way,
I
you
could.
gonna
Yeah.
swing and miss?
Let me describe to the
You do that. I'll
listeners
cue us up.
our aptly named game called the Automotive Printed Quiz Game Show, where Frank today will be reading through a magazine article featuring a sales ad for a vehicle. He will not tell me this vehicle. He will read through the ad, omitting anything that gives it away. I have 3 guesses to arrive at what vehicle it is, make, model. We try to get the year. We try to get special trims for bonus points. Every time I miss, and I do have 3 strikes, he's going to give me a hint and hopefully get me there. But you never know. Sometimes we fail miserably at this game on the cars we
Mhm.
should know, and sometimes the really hard ones we nail off the bat. So we're weird like that. But anyway, it's our little game. I have 10 minutes on the clock when he finishes. Frank, go ahead and roll that beautiful bean footage if you
I
will.
will. I will. I will give it the beans.
Please
We
do.
have a one-page advertisement here.
Okay, a onesie, if
A
you will.
onesie. At the top half, there's an image of the vehicle, which looks like it's, I don't know, up upon some sort of like moon type rocky, craggy surface. It's all
Lunar rover, final answer.
exactly. God damn it. There's like a sunset in the background. The vehicle is black in color. And then the bottom half is text. In the middle of that text, though, there's a gentleman in a button-up shirt. He's got golf shoes on. He's got white golfing gloves, and he's holding a, let's see, I'm gonna say that's a 3-wood. Um, and he's got his left foot up on top of this manufacturer's logo, and then his signature is right above it. I had to do a little bit of homework to figure out who this human is. And apparently it is a golf superstar of the era, Fuzzy Zeller. And it's got his signature, which is a little fallacy looking. And then it has some
Is
words.
it a fuzzy phallus?
Yeah, well, let's see. We'll get there. I'll send you the link here later. It's actually quite
Boy.
shorn. Um, the so right under the vehicle, it as the keynote
Yeah.
quote from Mr. Zeller here is, quote, I have a wife, 4 kids, and an aching back, and could afford to own just about any car on the market. But the all new blank is what I chose for my longest drives. And then the rest of the ad here, no longer quoting Mr. Zeller here. When it comes to driving with an aching back,
Yeah.
take it from Fuzzy. ... The all new blank 6-passenger luxury sedan turns any drive into a pleasure cruise. From its longer, sleeker shape to even more standard luxury features, the blank truly delivers on luxury in a big way. How big? New blank has 9 new inches of length. Yikes. More backseat legroom and over 20 cubic feet of trunk space. There's also enough room for the entire foursome's gear. New blank also features a more responsive 3800 V6 engine with tuned port injection and a standard anti-lock braking system. You'll be amazed by the newly available computer command ride system, an innovation that automatically adjusts the ride to match changing road conditions. It's a great way to ensure smooth drives. There's a lot of drive puns in this ad,
Yeah,
so
I'm getting the golf
run with it.
references.
Just run with it. Getting to the new blank is much easier than getting into a lot of other luxury vehicles. That's because it doesn't have the usual obstacle blocking your way, namely an oversized sticker price. Of course, once inside, you'll find plenty of good reasons to stay there a while, including a driver's side airbag, six-way power driver's seat, power windows, power locks, automatic comfort control air conditioning, tilt wheel steering, which is trademarked somehow. I don't know how they trademarked that, but they did.
Wow, good to them.
Tilt wheel steering. Available leather in the seating areas. That's right.
Tell me it's
Not
not
leather
leather
seats.
seating without
Not
telling me it's not leather seating.
Yeah. Available leather in the seating areas. And an available digital compact disc stereo sound system.
Okay.
Plus, there are added protective features like the passkey theft deterrent system. This is in quotes, child proof rear door locks, and two-sided galvanized steel for added corrosion protection. And while we're on the subject of protection, the new blank, like all new blanks, comes standard with the blank, the most comprehensive owner satisfaction program in the industry. To find out more about the all new visit your local dealer or call a phone number that we'll call shortly, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern Time. After one drive, you'll be hooked, or shall we say, set straight. And then at the very bottom, there's a little added thing with a bunch of logos for the senior PGA Tour and such. It says, be sure to watch the 52nd PGA Seniors Championship presented by blank.
Ooh.
Last year, it was a shootout among Gary Player, Jack Nicklaus, Lee Trevino, and Chichi Rodriguez. See the game's greatest test their skills against PGA National Championships course. And then it tells you the airings in apparently April of when this competition is taking place, sponsored by the manufacturer of this vehicle. Sir.
Dude. Lee Trevino's putting challenge is from The Simpsons. That's the only reference I got. Okay, start me with 10.
Yep, you're going.
You said 3800 V6, correct?
3800 V6.
Another GM hint from this ad is passkey, because I've owned vehicles with that. So we got GM, we got 3800. You said luxury. So we're talking a Buick, or we're talking an Oldsmobile.
Specifically, 6-passenger luxury sedan.
6 passengers. So we got a bench in the front. Buick or Oldsmobile, though. That's where I'm stuck. And then this has got to be 80s. This has got to be.
Couldn't be Cadillac? I'm not. That's not a hint. I'm just thinking out loud with you.
Yeah, it doesn't read like. I mean, it could.
What would Fuzzy drive? Let's be real.
I'm just thinking Buick or Oldsmobile for some reason. Okay. I'm just really going straight there. And I don't know what the 3800 got stuck in for Cadillac.
Ooh, good point.
Yeah.
I don't think they had anything with the 3800 in it.
I don't think so either. So I'm still sticking with those, but God, do I know the lineup that well? We're definitely mid to early 80s. This is a tough one, man. It's kind of my wheelhouse. So far, so good. I think I put a puzzle together. Boy,
I love ones with like questionable celebrities in them.
Yeah, I got zero of the golf stuff.
Yeah, it's not my thing. Like 80s, 90s golfers is not my wheelhouse.
What was
modern golfers even?
What was the Regal wasn't that big, and I don't know if you could get a bench seat in a Regal ever.
I think I don't know.
Me, because that's where my heart goes, is Buick Regal right off the rip. It kind of makes sense. They're trying to tote the luxury golfer, and I could definitely see a golf tournament put on by Buick back then, because that's what Buick really positioned themselves.
The PGA Senior Tour. Like not even regular golf, like the seniors.
Yeah, so it's in Buick and Oldsmobile align themselves with that. But Jesus, what car is this? There was no other giveaway what it was. Like there was no tech specs in there, man.
Really. ABS, computer command ride system.
No.
Passkey, which you picked up on.
Yeah.
6-way power driver's seat. Oversized sticker price.
Could
Cubic
this
cubic
be?
20 cubic feet of trunk space.
It's
In
big.
case you're up on
That's
your
big. Yeah. Uh,
big boy things.
let's go ahead. I don't want to burn too much time here. I want to go with eh, Buick Park Avenue. We threw in the Ultra, 1984. Buick Park Avenue
Ooh.
Ultra.
I
Final
don't know if
answer.
they had an Ultra in 84. They might have.
Maybe.
Either way, this is not the 84 Buick Park Avenue Ultra, nor is it a Buick Park Avenue of any flavor.
Okay. Okay. There's not enough in this ad to really. If I would have got this on the first guess, that would have been fucking awesome.
Yeah, I mean that's
Um,
the thing. The 3800 is pretty ubiquitous
yeah.
in GM. Thankfully, you've got the. I would say this. How about this? Well, this isn't a hint because I've already read it to you, but I'm going to direct you here.
Hmm.
I don't think they had passkey that early.
Okay, so maybe
Further,
80, 88, 89, maybe.
furthermore, while yes, available leather in the seating areas, as profoundly ridiculous as that sounds, also an available digital compact disc stereo sound system.
Okay. So 89, 88 potentially. Um,
Probably at the absolute earliest.
yeah. Well, ABS call out still in the end. Yeah, I'm thinking 89, 90 now. Was that my hint?
Let me how about this?
You did give me a little time, but there's nothing here. How about this? Do I have it narrowed down to the two
That
potential?
was going to be my hint. Is
Okay.
you are right. It is either a Buick or an Oldsmobile.
That doesn't help a lot. See, but this is now it's a little more rare because bench seats were way more common in the 70s, early 80s than they were in the 90s. If we are 90s or even late 80s, bench seats are pretty rare. There's only a few.
Yeah, they were more common. They really disappeared in the late 90s because even stuff
Shit,
like
still.
that Roadmaster had it.
Yeah, but not a
Um
lot of stuff. Everything had a bench seat in the 70s.
yeah,
God, dude.
but when we're talking full size, because that's what
Yeah,
this is, it's a full
six
size.
seater. Um, this is insane. What did Oldsmobile have for a full size? They had what was Oldsmobile's full sizes at the time they had the it didn't say did I get a door count? Is this a sedan?
This is a 6-passenger luxury sedan. Turns
Okay.
any
Oh,
drive
okay.
into a pleasure cruise.
So the Riviera would have been a little later. That would have been a two-door. Um Oldsmobile. We could go with their
How about I give this as a hint? So this was Fuzzy Zeller was the sponsor of this in golf.
yeah.
Tiger Woods was also a famous golfer and was famously sponsored by this manufacturer during his playing time until the manufacturer was in, insolvent.
So Oldsmobile, because Buick's still around. I think one of their longest. Well, let's go with it. I think they're full size. I can't think of any other full size from the time. One of the Oldsmobiles, and I just watched a video about the history of this, so of course I clued into this. Their longest running nameplates was the 88, and I think there was like because it started with the Rocket 88, and then the rocket symbol, which was the Oldsmobile symbol,
Mm-hmm.
which is a rocket ship, and a lot
Yep.
of people don't know that came from that car.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the only thing that's coming to mind. Let's go. God, let me get the timer. I'm going to say 89 because I still feel it's an 89. Oldsmobile 88. Final answer.
It is not the Oldsmobile 88. You're excruciatingly close, however.
What else did they have for full
You
size?
are roughly, I don't know, 12% off. It is alphanumeric, but spelt out.
So I'm pretty close.
You are painfully close, at least with regards to the name.
God, they ran the
It
88.
is a different vehicle. It is a straight up different vehicle. Because they did for a long time make a full size that was very similarly named.
The 88 ran for so long, though.
You have approximately 2 minutes.
I believe they had a 98. Is that the fuck it? This is impossible. Oldsmobile 98, my final answer. Written out, because it was written out in some cursive language. I remember the badges distinctly.
It's actually deeply block letter
Oh, is it? Why do
font.
I remember cursive for some reason?
At least, well, that's the thing. This was a long running nameplate. So
As well, yeah.
this specific uh 98, a new generation of Oldsmobile.
Dude, that was the
Yes.
hardest one.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. The 1991 Oldsmobile 98, a new
Okay.
generation of Oldsmobile.
So a little newer than the 88.
And
And
let me send you, while we're chatting here, I'm going to send you a link so you can see Mr.
sir,
Fuzzy himself
that
hanging
was
out.
fucking hard.
It's hard because I don't want to say it's easy. It's hard because it's like,
Dude,
it's
there was
easy to pin
nothing.
down. What I'm saying, it's like, it's easy to pin down like ballpark
Let me see
manufacturer,
what
but
you
like
got here.
so much shit use that engine. And there were so many full, like you could have gone, you know, depending on your definition of luxury, you could have gone Bonneville. You could have gone
Oh, what a horrible
probably not
ad.
Chevy, but
What a horrible ad. I'm
oh,
looking
look at
here.
that ad! Look at that
Good
ad!
Lord, dude.
Look at, I
How did
told
I
you he's got
get to
a slightly fallacy signature.
and I think I'm pretty good with this era of GM, like my knowledge base, and that was hard for me, man. That was like
Yeah,
a real hard but I mean, right off the rip, I was Buick or Oldsmobile, which already means I'm a
yeah,
horrible
that's.
person, right?
But
Like,
the 98 is such an also, because everyone's like, oh, the Delta 88, which ran for a long time and then
that's what I
morphed
was
into
thinking.
stuff like
That's
the
what I was thinking.
which, yeah, there was a lot of that. But the 98, which did run for a long time as an enormous vehicle,
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
full size of the era, and based on our subject matter, it felt like I needed to go something with a full size. Bear with me here. I'm dialing 1-800
They said Monday through Friday, sir.
242 olds. Well, let's see. Let's see. If we get a voicemail box, then I will be excited. Okay, let's see. Let's call the number. Oh, not Bluetooth. I want speaker. There we go.
Also, the 88 looked way better than the 98.
That's true. I like they had the thin whites.
Welcome to
Oh.
America's hottest talk line.
What?
Guys,
Another one?
ladies are waiting to talk to you. Press
Ooh.
1 now. Ladies, to talk to
Should I push
interesting and
one?
exciting guys free. Press
No.
2 to connect free now.
Oh. Hmm.
Guys, press 1 now.
Oh.
Ladies, press 2 now.
Is that it? Is that it? Anything else?
I mean, do you have to press one? I think it's obligatory.
I'm just gonna. I think. Oh, it hung up. If I got exactly 30 seconds. If I didn't make a selection in 30 seconds, it's like, nah. You know, we want. I don't know why they want people to, like, I don't know, finish what they're doing quickly. It seems like they would want to drag that kind of thing out. But what do I know?
pressed the wrong button. I pressed the wrong button.
I know. Is Fuzzy there? No, that's not what I meant.
Oh my God. How did we get that? How did we get this one? That was a tough
Okay.
one.
Question though. I think that's the third time we've tried to call one of those numbers.
It was a defunct GM brand each time, right? Wasn't it Pontiac before?
Well, I just find it amusing that 2 out of the 3 times we get porn. Like, what are the odds?
It's like the internet.
Exactly. For porn. Yeah, it's just I don't know. Anyways,
Sir, thanks for hitting me with the Oldsmobile 98.
Olds 98.
Dude, I'd give that a 4.5 out of 5 spicy all day. That was a challenging one.
Yeah, not be like it's obscure, but not super obscure. But just like the detail, the detail.
3800 and then passkey, and I'm like,
38. Yeah, 3800. It's got a CD player, and it. Honestly, I thought like the potential golf hints would get you there, because not the driver puns, but just the fact that like Oldsmobile and golf have been for old people linked for a long time.
Yeah, I agree. Cadillac fit the golf and the old person thing, but I don't remember the 3800. That's why I just went straight to the The luxury twins,
Yeah.
if you will.
And that's the right call. And then at that point, you're like trying to figure out like, okay, which
Model,
which full size? Because what was the platform mate for that in Buick? So 1991
What was
Buick
what did I say?
full size sedan.
I said Park Avenue,
Park Ave.
which I think
Yes,
was actually correct.
I think that was it.
It was a synonym.
Because they had the LeSabre, which was their smaller one.
Yep.
And the Regal, which I think was even smaller.
Smaller, yeah. Dude, look how good I'm all over this shit, dude. It's so sad. Like things to take your mind up.
You know what's funny? I just clicked immediately for the 1991 Buick catalog.
Uh-huh.
I just scrolled that. It immediately shows like Park Avenue Ultra and Park Avenue, and then it shows a dude like in a golf swing.
Dude,
god damn it!
How good was my first? My first guess was spot the fuck on.
And then the Riviera, which was at like that weird kind of middle, two-door, and then the Riata in 91,
smaller,
and then the Regal sedan,
smaller,
and then the Regal Coupe,
which is weird. It's a weird looking car.
Yeah. It is. Also the 3800, and then what else? Oh, then you had the LeSabre, which was like their entry-level shitbox one.
Yep.
Which God, it looked profoundly outdated then.
It was. Well, dude, read the ad you just read.
And then
I was thinking early 80s because you were calling out ABS still. You were calling out like I don't know. There was a lot in there that just harkened.
Buick had an enormous lineup in 91.
They did.
So you had the Riviera, the Riata, the Park Avenue, the Regal, the LeSabre, the Skylark, the Century, the Roadmaster wagon, and the Roadmaster Estate. So you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You had 9. Okay, call it 8. Let's combine the Roadmaster sedan and wagon into one. You had 8 nameplates. All of them cars.
Yeah.
And we just ended our conversation about Buick doesn't make cars anymore. Nobody makes cars anymore.
Yeah, that's all they used to do.
They only had cars.
Yeah. There's three different chassis there though. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, well,
there's a lot of platform sharing. Yeah,
there's a lot of platform sharing. But it's just funny.
We're getting more like pain inflicting in this game, aren't we? We're like really trying to hurt each other.
I'm okay with it. I'm fine. This is how we learn.
Listen to this piece of shit guess 88 instead of 98 Oldsmobile.
What a clown.
What a jerk.
Well, see, now I want to look at the 1991 Oldsmobile lineup.
It's pretty similar. I guarantee it's like I think that's why Buick went away because like what are you? Oh, we're luxury GM. Cadillac? No, the other one.
So you had the 90. Wow. Well, okay. I don't know if this is a good list. Let's see. All 98. This is saying the Alero, the Bravada. See, Buick got a couple, or Oldsmobile at least had an SUV.
Yeah, they did. Well, it was an S10 Blazer, wasn't it? The Bravada.
Yeah, that's what it was. That was a pretty shitty. I don't like that cool list. SUV. But yeah, so you had the Alero, the Cutlass Supreme, the 88, the 98, the Toronado, the Regency, the Silhouette, the Intrigue, the Cutlass Sierra, the Calais, the Aurora, and the Achieva.
Pretty robust.
That's a robust lineup from Oldsmobile, which no longer makes any cars. Yeah, interesting. Interesting. Well, so Olds 98.
Yeah, man, tough one. Thank you for that. That was
you're welcome.
And I think I'm like out of us. I think I'm the more like shitty GM guy.
Yeah.
And that pushed me, dude. That pushed me pretty hard. I think I was ballpark, but that was still hard to narrow down right off the rip. Good Lord, man. Okay, I need to unwind with some hard drug abuse. PCP, me too. I heard is on the menu, which is Project Car Progress. Did you want to start off your PCP before me?
I can. And you know what I have to bring to the table?
A whole bunch of zero
things.
Okay. You always find something to chat about.
Yeah, kid was homesick. There was a whole bunch of stuff. But like, no, like I just I did do some minor homework on how to actually just myself put new tires on this Honda 1981 Honda C70 Passport behind me.
Nice.
Which is fun because I have all the bits and pieces. I got white walls for it because why not?
Oh, hell yeah.
And so yeah, I don't know. Maybe over this upcoming weekend, I'll have it maybe an opportunity. I don't. The problem
Pretty cool.
is I don't have like a motorcycle jack. So like if I'm gonna like, it's kind of a pain in the dick to like. I can maybe do one at a time and make it slightly less painful, but yeah, I don't know. Or I'll just take them. I don't know. I just because that's what that thing needs to be like even remotely roadworthy because the front tire only holds air for like 20 minutes.
Yikes.
Which is not ideal. They have those tires are the original. I think they're the original tires.
You can't chalk it up in the air on something and just take the wheel off. And
I think I could. I felt like harvesting
Yeah.
some like cinder blocks out of the yard. I mean, like look at that thing. I mean, like
can't
that's
wait
a third
too
world
much.
staple. Like
Yeah.
people work on that like in actual mud in torrential downpours all day long.
Bungee
So
cord the handlebars to something so it has something to keep it kind of up. Take the weight off it. Yeah, you could do it.
Yeah, that's it.
Godspeed.
The progress I've made is considering doing things. How about you, sir?
Yeah, I'm with you, dude. I've been super busy, and what wrench time I do is like evenings after a full day of like adult work. So it's been pretty tough for me. But I have been cranking. Dude, I said I was gonna get this thing daily drivable, and I've been just doing minor maintenance items, and it's dragging out for a month now. But on the TSX, I did recently the valve cover gasket. It really wasn't leaking, so I just I'm doing everything up front. You know me, preventative maintenance. I did spark plugs. And the good news on that is I pulled them out and they were the NGK Iridiums, that the OEM recommended one. I'm telling you, this car was really looked after. And like spark plugs are easy to do. The Iridiums get a little pricier, right? We all know that. But to find the OEM recommended plugs in a car and they're still pretty fresh is a great sign.
Did you get a bunch of service records with the car or no?
0 service records. Wow. But everything's been clearly, right? Everything I've touched, even the air filter looked good. The fluids are like perfect. Like I'm just, it was well kept. No car makes it this high mileage and runs like this without being sorted.
Have you run a Carfax on it?
I ran not a Carfax. There was another report, and there's like no
auto check or
nothing scary. And it's clean title. Of course, I already got the title in my name.
Like I wonder if you run like a tried and true actual Carfax brand title history report.
Yeah.
If there are sometimes there'll be some reasonably decent service history there.
That's true.
I wonder if you get something, you know, Joe Blow's Emporium House of Waffles and car maintenance. And you can call Joe Blow himself and see if you can get the history on it because clearly it was maintained.
Yeah, on that report, it was mostly at Acura dealerships. So it's been a California car. It actually was purchased at Acura Marin. Right here in California. And I actually reached out to them and they were so pumped to give me the license plate frames to go with the car because I'm a big fan of having that for originality. And they were like, sent me a letter and everything like, Chadwick, thanks for representing us in, you know, Tracy, California. And I'm like, dude, this is a 320,000 mile TSX, but you're welcome.
You don't know what you're getting into, brother.
Yeah, I was like, give me that discount when I come to get the Integra Type S, and then we can talk later. But super awesome dealership, big happy letter. They were so nice to deal with. They shipped them to me for free. So that wasn't bad. And they're on the car. They look awesome. They're, you know, the chrome with the black, which matches the chrome with the black on the car. But I also did air filter, all the basic under the hood maintenance. And dude, like everything's in good shape. Like it's just like shock. It's like the car that mileage didn't matter. Like it honestly never mattered. Like when I showed you the picture of the valve cover off, like it's so clean in the valve train. And I'm like, God damn, you know, this is just a reminder, guys, that mileage, like basic maintenance, it's no bullshit. It really does stretch the life of your car out.
I feel like you almost said age is just a number.
Almost.
But then you caught yourself.
Yeah. So. Mileage is just a number.
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you for that. Well, no, it's cool. And we've talked many an episode about how we both deeply trust well-maintained high mileage cars.
100%.
Far more than questionably maintained low mileage cars. So 100%. You know, and like so between you've got almost 600, actually, pretty much exactly 600,000 miles between those two cars in your garage right there.
Those two really good, reliable, awesome vehicles.
Yeah, and they run perfectly.
Better than most. Yeah.
So that's
nothing
cool.
Scary. And it's a timing chain engine. It's a K-series motor. These things are known to be robust and last forever. The 6-speed gearbox has no shortcomings. It's just like, I'm not scared of it, and it's been maintained. So The condition is awesome, and I got it for fucking nothing for what it's worth. So I'm just doing all my preventative maintenance up front because I'm going to lean on it as a daily and just drive it and enjoy it.
I'm into it.
That's
I'm here for it. That's a very, very, very good daily. If they only made a wagon version, the world would be better. But
they did make a TSX wagon, but no manual.
Not in that generation.
No, next generation. But yeah, I agree. They almost answered your question. But I think this is slick looking. I think this car absolutely still looks modern. So
yep, that's a great car.
Yeah, good car. So I'm pretty pumped. I'm excited to drive it. But yeah, just doing routine maintenance. You know me, I love routine maintenance. Actually, it doesn't get old to me. So
nope. Maintain away unless it's a timing belt. In which case,
I still maintain away.
That's right.
Go ahead, sir. Take us home.
Let's get us on home. We are another Pointless Automotive podcast. Thanks for listening, friends. We're in a brave new year. And I'm thinking that we will do some brave new things this year. I don't know. I don't want to overpromise and underdeliver, which is what we normally do. So, to be fair, that's what you've signed up for.
Yeah. Suckers.
That said, like I'm hoping we can do some of the nonsense that we talked about in previous episodes, whether it be our 100th episode or our 2-year or the new year looking forward. I really hope we have an opportunity to do some cool stuff in 2024. So hang on, tag along for all of that nonsense. If you want to pay attention to what I'm doing, first off, you shouldn't, but if you want to, that's the Photographer's Garage on most of the places and things. Mr. Wick, Chad, if you will, where can people track you down?
Yeah, Auto Obsessive Garage on the YouTubes, rescues, restorations, and reviews. Also on Instagram. So yeah, but like Frank said, follow another Pointless Automotive podcast. That's the place to be. Helps. And we love it when you guys stop by. And as always, take care. We love you a ton, and we'll see you guys next week.
Happy